The whispers about Meghan Markle, they've been swirling around the tabloids and social feeds for years. But now, Tom Bower, the legendary ruthless royal biographer, has cranked the volume all the way up. And he's dragging us straight into Meghan's most scandalous rumors yet. And let me tell you, he's not tiptoeing. At 85, Bower has nothing to lose, and he's swinging with precision, gloves off, at Meghan's carefully crafted public image. First, let's talk about the yacht girl lifestyle. Yes, you heard me right. The whispers about glamorous yacht parties, rubbing elbows with billionaires, celebrities, and high-powered men during her early Hollywood days, Bower is claiming these rumors aren't just gossip. He paints them as part of a pattern, a carefully orchestrated climb to fame. According to him, Meghan didn't just act her way into the spotlight. She maneuvered, calculated, leveraged, and networked her way there. Every handshake, every smile, every connection, it was a chess move. And girl, that stings because it challenges the narrative she's spent years building. The self-made, independent Hollywood star. But Bower doesn't stop there. He's tearing into Meghan's so-called victim persona. She's been portrayed as the modern-day persecuted princess, borrowing Diana's aura, evoking sympathy, creating a narrative of innocence wronged. But Bower calls it out for what it really is: manipulation. He argues that Meghan weaponized Diana's legacy, not out of admiration, but as a brand strategy. The clothes, the poses, the paparazzi moments, all meticulously designed to echo Diana's image while lacking the authenticity that made Diana beloved. According to Bower, people aren't fooled anymore. They see parody, not sincerity. And then there's the Oprah interview, the infamous mic drop moment meant to cement her narrative. Bower isn't impressed. He highlights the contradictions, the inconsistencies, the reshaping of stories whenever it suited her. She claimed one thing, then pivoted again. He points out that if you keep rewriting your story, eventually no one believes a word you say. And unfortunately for Meghan, that's exactly where she finds herself. Not as a misunderstood icon, but a professional storyteller, carefully editing reality to suit her PR ambitions. Now let's get even more personal. Her marriage to Prince Harry. Bower suggests it's far from the fairy tale Netflix wants us to believe. Behind the glossy photographs and polished documentaries lies tension, fracture, and strategic image management. Meghan allegedly uses her daughter as a shield, positioning herself as the devoted mother while masking cracks in the marriage. Her kids, Bower argues, are props in a larger narrative, tools to draw sympathy while deflecting attention from the reality behind the palace walls. It's cold, calculated, and, according to him, devastatingly effective, until now. And then there's Hollywood. Initially, Meghan's transition back across the pond was met with curiosity and excitement. A Duchess-turned Hollywood darling. It had a fairy tale sheen. But that glow has faded. Producers whisper about her being difficult. Celebrities dodge her. Invitations to A-list events have dried up. The Hollywood elite aren't dazzled anymore. They see her as a liability, a risk, a PR headache. Even her so-called empire, meticulously built on talent, independence, and glamour, is cooling rapidly. And those yacht rumors? They keep dragging her back into scandal. Suddenly, the image of the glamorous, aspirational Duchess is replaced by someone who looks manufactured, toxic, and contrived. Let's talk about obsession, too. Bower doesn't just touch on Diana admiration, he digs into an alleged obsession. Meghan doesn't just respect Diana, he says. She studies her, copies Her crafts her own image to mirror the late princess. But here's the crux. Diana was beloved for her authenticity, her vulnerability, her relatability. Meghan? People are beginning to see the cracks, the performance, the strategic facade. And that's the part that hurts most for someone who spent years cultivating the royal rebel persona. And then, of course, there's the pattern of contradictions. From when she said she never Googled Harry, to the changing stories about when she first met the Queen and Prince Charles, to the spin around Archie's royal titles. Each inconsistency piles on top of the last. The public isn't ignoring these anymore. Social media is ruthless, dissecting every statement, every staged photo, every narrative pivot. And Bauer's point is simple. The lies, contradictions, and spin only work so long. Eventually, the truth, or at least the perception of it, catches up. And for Meghan, it has, even her PR machinery. The aggressive strategists who once smoothed every curve in her story aren't immune. Meredith Maine, for example, has always been there to craft her image, but Bauer's revelations suggest that the effort may have been too little, too late. The whispers from Hollywood, the press, and even the palace aren't flattering. She's difficult, manipulative, and out of sync with the very system she tried to conquer. The narrative of empowerment? Crumbling. The image of independence? Fading. And then, let's layer in the royalty factor. Bauer emphasizes that Meghan's understanding of the British monarchy is superficial at best. She can project an image, yes, but she doesn't grasp the subtle power plays, the history, or the expectations that come with royalty. The result? Missteps, contradictions, and a public increasingly skeptical of her motives. The Sussex story, once framed as a progressive modern fairy tale, now reads more like a fragile business arrangement. Two people holding on to an image because it's all they have left. Bauer also shines a harsh light on control. Meghan, he argues, is obsessed with controlling her narrative. Every interview, every documentary, every public statement, carefully edited, curated, scripted. Even the Netflix series, designed to elevate her as Diana 2.0, reflects this obsession. Bauer sees it as the ultimate paradox. In trying to control every story, she's exposed herself to scrutiny and, ironically, lost control of her own image. And then, the consequences. Her public goodwill, once swelling, has deflated. Polls show a collapse in popularity both in the UK and US. Hollywood doors, once open, are closing. Royal doors are barely ajar. Invitations, opportunities, influence, all waning. Meanwhile, the yacht girl rumors linger, the whispers of connections to shady networks persist, and the careful veneer of authenticity she cultivated is cracking at the seams. Bauer isn't just pointing fingers. He's documenting a systematic unraveling of an empire built on appearances rather than substance. At the core of it all is the failure to replicate Diana's magic. Diana captured hearts because she was real. Meghan's attempts at homage, imitation, and strategic positioning have, in Bauer's view, backfired spectacularly. Sympathy has turned to skepticism. Admiration has turned to critique. The world sees the performance, not the person. And in that, the Duchess, who wanted to be a global icon, now faces the harsh truth. Celebrity, royalty, and influence cannot be manufactured or borrowed. They must be earned. And while Harry's role is layered in this drama, Bauer makes it clear that Meghan's narrative has often been self-focused. She frames herself as the victim, as the misunderstood, while strategic, control over stories, images, and public perception dominates the stage. In the process, The once celebrated Sussex brand is cooling. The global stage, from Hollywood to royalty circles, has begun to close doors, shake heads, and question the empire that was supposed to last forever. In the end, Bower's revelations are brutal, relentless, and unapologetic. But that's precisely the point. He's not creating new scandals. He's highlighting what millions have been whispering for years. The contradictions, the performances, the spin, they all point to the same truth. Meghan's empire is built on appearances, and appearances, no matter how dazzling, eventually crumble. The question isn't whether she can rebuild it, it's whether anyone still believes it can exist. Meghan Markle, once the rising star, the modern princess, the Hollywood royal hybrid, now faces an empire in decline. Hollywood elite, the public, the royals, all are increasingly disillusioned. And as Bower pulls back the curtain, the reality is stark. The lies, the spin, the contradictions, they don't outlast the truth. And the truth? Meghan's carefully curated world is fraying fast, leaving her once glittering image under fire, under scrutiny, and rapidly fading. And that, my darlings, is the saga as Tom Bower sees it. The whispers, the scandals, the contradictions, they're no longer whispers. They're a roar. And if Meghan thought she could control the narrative forever, well, Bower's just made it very clear. The story is no longer hers alone.